stream. Okay. Hello, everyone who decided to show up. I'm here with Empress, aka I forget your character's name already.
Revine,
Revine, Revine Milith. I'm thankful to pass me for actually putting the text ahead of time.
oh, the text ahead of time. Oh, nice. I just saw it right now.
Uh, uh, Echo on stream. Hmm.
Wait, let me listen to.
Are you listening to the stream, or are you listening to Discord via speakers? Okay, I'm already getting mixed messages. Mary and Todd, fight it out.
No, I'm watching the stream and I just tuned into it as well. I don't hear any echo.
Okay, all right. Uh, I actually had a script of talking things.
Disregard.
Oh, I disregard everyone anyway. Okay, so you already got out of your system for for the VTuber drama and stuff, so leave that in the past. This year, this is just a shooting the shit casual talk. And the only talking points I have on my list is Canadian University's current year slash science, and then slash streaming VTuber stuff, which is that'll be the close out sales pitch stuff. But mostly, I just want to talk to you about how's university treating you and shit like that.
University treating me. Um, it's been I could say it's a shit show, but if I'm going to be completely honest, that's ultimately my fault for taking a full load course of 5 biology courses concerning anatomy and physiology throughout both semesters that I have, which is my fault. It's nobody else's fault. It is my fault that I have such a heavy workload. So, um, it's screwing me over, I would say. And other than lectures alone, I think it's the labs that infuriate me the most.
Okay, before I forget, just for clarity's sake, uh, make sure you don't say what university you're going to or what year you're in. I've been able to suss out you're an undergrad at this point, and we'll just leave it at that kind of thing.
Doesn't everyone already know what age I am?
I can't remember, so I'm going on that assumption.
I'm gonna go on the assumption that nobody remembers my age either.
Yeah, so it's kind of like OPSEC best practice building good habits kind of thing.
Oh yeah, don't say personal things that shouldn't be said.
Yeah. So, have you declared your major yet?
My major, I mean, they've already put me into a stream of life sciences, and now I have to pick from like various different pathways, which is what streams are. Um, However, unfortunately, I'm not exactly supposed to be a medical student. So I went over and I switched it to the chemical and physical department. Uh, so that I would be like more of a biology specialist. This is a special thing that happens I think at select universities where instead of picking two majors or a major and two minors, you can pick just one specific program to be in, and that's the only thing you focus on.
Okay, this sounds retarded because when I okay, I'm just gonna uh, quick run through my education. So I went to university on a biology scholarship, but then I really quickly changed over to geology when I saw the light. Now I had to declare my major, so like I was going in like bachelor science regardless, and then I declared my major, and then I elected to take an honors in geology. So that's all I had to do was take my course load and then do my thesis. Now I know you want to go in long term dentistry, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not too sure how depends on your province kind of thing. I don't know how the Dental Association of Canada runs out, but I know with the PGOs in Canada, uh, you're kind of screwed if you don't take the right courses. Like, for example, for me going to professional registration, I kind of lucked out, and I was out of province for this particular association, so they kind of just hand waved my degree coming in and stuff. But
Oh,
I've actually had some coworkers who got screwed out of being PGOs because they would be short a course or two, because like the association has an annual list of like, okay, you need these courses for you to even to talk to us, kind of thing and stuff. I'm kind of just wondering, does dentistry would dentistry have the same kind of thing?
it does actually have the same exact thing, which is a bit of an annoyance because it means that any courses I take have to be the specific ones that I need. I can't take courses like bird courses that everyone else is allowed to take to like put a bit more comfort into their grades, but for me that's not at all allowed because if I decide to take maybe one or two courses that I don't need, I'm going to either have to stay another year or figure out a way to like I don't know, convince them to let me into a dentistry program, which I know is not going to happen.
Okay,
So,
well, okay, like I'm kind of I'm kind of buddies with my dentist, because he's only a couple years older than me and stuff, and he told me pretty much like the way he had to do it is that he got his science degree. It was a double honors in biochem, so he got his undergrad in that, and then he went to dentistry school,
sense.
which was a completely different thing.
Oh, really? Okay.
It
For
might it
the
might be different
specific
now, and it
thing
might
you're
be different for you.
doing.
I'm not too sure.
I don't think it's the same how it was back then because now there's like they have a whole list that specifies what sort of courses you should take and what they have to contain. And if these courses somehow don't contain a specific material that you needed to learn, they're not going to take that course. And you're going to have to figure out if there's another course that does teach you that thing. Like, say, for example, you went into animal physiology. Well, you didn't only need animal physiology, you needed human physiology with basically all the systems that has to do with it. Well, now you realize that your other class has those systems, but it's missing a couple. So then you have to take another course that contains all of that. And then the cascade just keeps going on until you finally have all the material that you needed covered for them to accept you.
I suddenly feel a lot better about being a geologist now.
Dentistry is, it's not like I don't have um passion to be a dentist. I do kind of enjoy their kind of workload. It seems quite easy, nice, but it also you get to talk uh to people who basically can't talk back to you because you're cleaning their teeth, which is a very big plus to me. You get to listen to me, but I don't get to listen to you.
My thought process for you, like, I like kind of like my main note was like, kind of just like make sure she knows what she's getting into for course requirements, because it could fuck her down the line. So you're aware of this going in. That's kind of like alleviating my little concern, kind of thing.
Yeah, I was aware. The moment I got into it, I had already done my research and I was like, this looks like Dante's Inferno, but like times it by 10. And that is the entire way of becoming a dentist. This doesn't even take into account like the extra years if I want to become like an orthodontist or like an endodontist and stuff like that. That's a whole other issue. This is just general dentistry.
Well, okay, so like I'm largely ignorant on a lot of stuff. So, uh, I assume to get into dentistry school you need a bachelor of science, and they probably want you to have like biology with a focus in like maybe a side of chem. Like, I don't know like what are your recommended requirements as of right now that you're aware of.
The ones that I'm aware of right now is actually just mainly biology. You do need to take beginner chem courses. Like, okay, organic chemistry and inorganic chemistry, I do not think you need to take for getting into a dentistry program, but anything that has to do with biology, like I said, anatomy, physiology, all of that, You need it. It's similar in a way to going to get a medical, going into medicine,
Yeah,
but
yeah, because like as a fallback for a career choice, it might be an idea to have maybe like at least organic chem, just to say like I don't know, I want to become a doctor instead of a dentist kind of thing.
oh yeah, that is true. I have taken organic and inorganic chemistry already.
Oh, you already have? Congrats. I remember talking with some of my buds when I was in university and stuff, and I was kind of like above my head. Like I lit the one course I failed in university was Chem 2 for physical sciences. I scrubbed out
Oh,
that one hard, and I had to downgrade to Chem 2 for life sciences, aka biology chem.
oh, no, I kind of completely understand what you're getting at. Especially in chemistry, the professors are a lot more strict. There's a strange rivalry with the biology and the chemistry professors. And this happens in like every university, and I don't know why, where they think they're like above the other in terms of knowledge and then like shit on each other during lectures, which is honestly the funniest thing because no, both of your lectures are equally as hard. We don't have to get into a competition for it. But for inorganic chemistry and organic chemistry, I do get where you're coming from because I got docked marks at some point because I did not draw the configuration of a molecule properly. And the reason for that was that it wasn't a 45 or 90-degree angle. They told me, you have an 85-degree angle here that you drew. You need to change that. I don't even know what that means. It was a it was a 2D image, not a 3D image that I drew. And they told me the angle was wrong. And I got docked like -5 points for that on a test.
That's silly. Okay, Porian, I bumped her up a bit uh, just now, so let me know if I need to bump her up some more after. But yeah, I don't know. So, some of that, honestly, thinking back, I think oh fuck, what was it? Okay, so we took field school for geology. So we go out into the bush, map some rocks, learn how to actually do stuff in the field. And it was our main sedimentology prof was running that particular year. And then when we got back to university with all our data and stuff, he just threw out, "Oh, by the way, I need you guys to do a Rose diagram of these sedimentary deposits." And we were like, "Okay, are you going to teach us what a Rose diagram is and how to do one?" No.
Oh, okay.
"And you want us to do it?" Yes. Every single one of us said, "No, we're not going to do it unless you teach us." It was the strangest thing. Like he was one of my favorite profs. He was really friendly and stuff, but he was really stupid on this one thing. I'm like, honestly, just spend one class, teach us how to do this one thing, and we'll give it to you. That's all we were asking. And he was like, no. And I was like, man, this is weird.
Was he not getting paid for that? I mean, as a professor alone, you're getting paid enough.
I have no idea. We tried like getting it out of him. It's like, why are you not budging on this one issue? It's just like it was the strangest thing.
I mean, I can understand from, I guess my only similar experience to that would be in my statistics course, where he didn't teach us what a p-value was. And I still don't know what a p-value is. I don't even know how I passed my statistics course. But he didn't teach us how to make the diagrams. He didn't really teach us what the diagrams meant. He just showed us a bar graph and was just like, figure it out on your own. So I do know how you feel. It's just, I think a good explanation to that was that it was a professor that graduated from Harvard. So he had to stick up his ass
Oh
because
yeah,
everyone who goes to Harvard has to tell you that they're from Harvard.
yeah. It's always the Ivy League type. Like I don't know. Just think of math. I for my bachelor of science undergrad, I only had to take one full math credit, and that was calculus one, calculus two, or statistics. And I took calculus two. And looking back, I really fucking wish I took statistics because I use it. I use it every day at work, and I know statistics now, but it was kind of like I had to learn at the job instead of learning it in school.
Oh, so you had to learn while you were doing it in the like when it counted. That
Yeah,
sounds actually quite painful.
not really, because thankfully the internet exists and YouTube tutorials, and the material's out there, and it's kind of one of those things. Like here's my soapbox for school. School doesn't teach you shit except to know what you're looking for. Does that make sense?
That is true. You are right on that. That is true.
Like everything I learned in school, it immediately went out of my head the instant the exam was over. But I have a vague memory in my mind of, oh, I know this thing. Let me look it up, and then I know what I'm looking for, so I don't, take a wrong turn kind of thing.
No, yeah, that's true. I mean, I can barely remember what happened in my own chemistry course. All I know is radicals. I could search that up, and now I know what it is again. Doesn't mean I'm gonna remember it forever, though. So that is true.
Yeah. Oh, I remember you telling me last night. So they canceled your titration lab for one of your labs.
It wasn't the fact that they canceled the titration. Okay, so you're gonna think this is like the stupidest thing ever because it's so inefficient, so useless, so boring, and so time consuming for no reason. But we had a lab, and this was like a second year course lab because I had forgotten to take the second year course. So it seems a lot simpler than what I would do in a third year lab or a fourth year lab.
Mm-hmm.
But they just wanted to see how enzymes would digest different sources of energy, so sugars, proteins, fats, etc. And what they did, instead of letting us do a titration, because it would have been so much faster to do a titration, they made us take these little plates and they had grooves in them. And these small little grooves, you would place a single drop of like indicator. And I'm pretty sure everyone here knows what an indicator is. It could be wrong. But
They'll figure out by context.
they'll figure out by context. That's true. And so we put it in there and it was orange in color when we put the mixture of the solution, which was the enzyme and the energy source that it was digesting. It would change color to a dark blue. So what they asked us to do, and you need to imagine this happened for an hour. We took like small little drops of the solution and in each of the and after like each 15 seconds, actually it spanned from 15 to 30 seconds because we had to do it three different times. We put the solution in that indicator, it changed color, and then we had to wait until until at some point the solution that we put into that indicator was no longer changing colors. That meant that it had digested everything. Now, this is stupidly annoying and time consuming because why can't we just drip indicator and do like titrations and all that? Why do I have to specifically use like a 4x4 little plate and just like manually put in drops every 15 seconds for an hour for like three different test tubes? There was no reason for me to do that.
So
They just
so they
decided it was a good
so they
idea.
didn't even give you a reason. They were just like, here, just do it.
No, yeah, they told us to just do it, and we all were just like, "Why not just use a titration for it?" And they were like, "No, because you need to see how they change colors."
You can
As
see the
if we
fucking
didn't
color
see that.
change in the goddamn pipe.
No, that was my entire point. I was like, "That makes no sense. Why would you want me to?" And they gave us not just one, but like five of these small 4x4 plates. And the unfortunate part is that sometimes it took so long for it to stop changing color that you had to quickly grab one of your partners to go clean the plate and then like reuse it and put more indicator on it over and over again for like a span of 30 minutes.
Oh
And it
my
was so useless.
god, that's so fucking retarded.
It was actually so bad. It really made no sense because we all knew a titration would have been so much easier to do.
I don't know. It's kind of one of those things. Like, for example, my first job, uh, when I had to do a drill layout, my boss got me to do it the old-fashioned way by paper and rulers and stuff like that, which was fine because it taught me the process. And then afterward, I moved over to AutoCAD. That makes sense. There's a logical progression there. But for that little titration lab, there, it's just like, Are you just doing it just to be different, kind of thing?
I'm honestly not even sure. Maybe the chemistry department said you can't use any of the titration equipment and decided that biology doesn't get that. But
I can
like
actually see this.
irregardless of so it makes no sense. Yeah, I could actually see it too. The chemistry and biology departments really hate each other. They'll do anything to undermine one another.
I don't know. I was a fucking rock liker, so I kind we kind of just like we're like the mutt of sciences because we need biology for this, we need chemistry for that, we need physics for that, and it's like blah blah blah, and it's just like, and we're just pulling the relevant information we need to you know do rock stuff. So it's like
No, yeah, that makes sense.
okay, it's like you hoity toity biology and you hoity toity chemistry and you hoity toity physics. So it's like okay, you can all go do your ultra specialized thing, but us mere mortals, we need to work.
Yeah, that is true. You're right on that. It's specifically the pure chemistry and the pure biology students that butt heads, including the professors. I had a professor in chemistry specifically tell me, "Oh, biology is so much easier. We have to do all these calculations and you guys just have to sit there and look at cells." And I was just like, "You're a chemistry professor working at one of like at a really distinct university and you're telling me you don't even know what actual biology is?"
Oh no,
I didn't say that, but I wanted to.
oh no. Here's the thing. I noticed this really early on in academia, like my academic career, and especially in my professional career and stuff. Is that the more specialized you are, the more the blinders are on, and that you're kind of only focused on your specialization, like this one thing. Like at this level, what we're talking about is chemistry, biology, physics, and geology, for example. Like that's like upper. But then you get the lower, the more specialized beyond those. There, it gets really stupid really quickly.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's actually so appalling how a fourth year student specifically going into chemistry, you even talk about the inner workings of physiology and like anatomy and the systems of a body and they're like, "What are you talking about?" And then you come to the conclusion that the people who are shitting on you this entire time don't even understand what they're talking about.
Yeah,
Blows my mind.
yeah. Like this also translates in its own way to the workplace. I only have my own examples. So, for example, the last job I had, my boss, he was set in his ways on a lot of certain things. And then when we would like us young kids, when we would read a technical paper or a scientific journal, and there'd be like this new thing, and be like, "Hey, boss, somebody figured this shit out. Can we start doing that too?" And he's like, "Nah, I don't like it."
Oh, so he's just like, "I don't like this new technique you came up with. Go with the old one." I'm
Kind
guessing.
kind of like that, and it's also not just the techniques; it's also the methodology. Um,
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I the easiest way for me to explain this particular example I have in my head would be to show you guys in Paint. So let me see. Open
MS Paint.
Paint. Scroll down to Programs. Paint. Show. Okay, I have a little space above our heads where I can draw. Okay, so what? You use colors. Let's see. Orange. Orange. Click them. Yeah. Okay. So over here, we're going to pretend this here is a pyrite crystal. That's an iron sulfide.
Right.
That's an iron sulfide. So the gold deposit I worked at, I have to kind of breeze through a lot of different concepts. So, okay. So, when metals come out of a solution, like in the magma, like when it's all molten and stuff, and the metals start coming out of the solution, it's not just one kind of metal. Pretty much they all come out and stuff. They'll come out at different rates and in different amounts and stuff. And as they come out, their composition will change. You follow?
Yeah.
Okay. So when we look for gold, gold's rare and stuff. So we'll look for other things that are more common. In this case, I'm looking for sulfides. In this particular case, I'm looking for sulfite, pyrite, and there's also chalcopyrite. But they'll work around the same. Now, here's the thing: we're looking for these sulfides, and associated with the sulfides will be the gold. Now, here's the kicker: we found out at one time by reading up research papers and then conferring amongst ourselves and then running tests and whatnot and taking it to our boss. Not only is the gold like, I'll just drop. I can't tell different colors. Let's pick a different color. Eh. That contrast? Okay. So, not only are we looking for the sulfides, just in and of themselves, in addition to the gold. In these sulfides, you have little blebs of gold as inclusions. But you can't see this because it's microscopic and it's inside the minerals. And these minerals are tiny to begin with.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. So we figured out eventually is that gold was occurring as inclusions inside the sulfides and stuff, and that was bumping up our numbers because when you would log the core, you see, like, for example, I would log the core with sulfides. I'd see no gold. Like, as in free gold, I can see with my naked eye just right there sitting by itself. I can't see that. But I send the rock to the lab to get assayed, the geochem analysis, and I get back the numbers and it runs gold. And then, my boss would be breathing down my neck. It's like, hey, Zenler, why didn't you see the fucking gold? Well, motherfucker, because it's fucking invisible because it's in the fucking sulfides. And trying to tell him this here, and we had like, all these like reams of research papers to back it up, and we had like pictures of thin sections and stuff, and he just wouldn't budge. It was so fucking weird.
So he just wouldn't budge on the fact that you couldn't see something that basically, in your eyes, was invisible or, in a sense, was basically microscopic. How does he expect you to see something you can't see with the naked eye?
You're supposed to be a goddamn psychic. That's how. No, there are people like this here, and you're gonna find them. You're gonna find assholes like these here the longer you go in your education and stuff, because they never go away. There's always gonna be like one or two guys that are like that. It's so dumb.
So they want you to just do the impossible. I mean, okay, one chem lab was basically like that. Um, where they got mad at me that they couldn't see the DNA that I had separated from the mixture. And I looked at them and I was just like, you can't expect that the DNA stays separated from the mixture indefinitely, right? I had already finished the lab and they were looking at my sample and they were like, "So where's the DNA?" You you buffoon. Of course it mixed in with the solution again. It's not just going to stay unmixed. And then I got slack for that. So
Oh no,
I do get where you're coming from.
oh no, it's all derivative of the fact that a lot of people, once you're special, like once you're either old or really specialized, you tend to put the blinders on and you see the world as a perfect system, which is very obviously not the fucking case.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Also, someone asked for me to speak in the British accent that I'm normally used to, so you'll hear me speak like this for a few minutes.
I don't care. Oh, and yeah, so guys, just to let you know, I made my default picture for paint black, not just to protect you guys from flashbangs. That's a bonus, but I'm used to working with old AutoCAD, and old AutoCAD, the background is black instead of white. All new AutoCAD right nowadays is the background is white, and I know every single person I've ever worked with immediately, the instant we get a new copy of AutoCAD, we immediately go into the settings and change it to a black background because that's just how we roll. It's just so much better, just drawing in CAD in black as opposed to white. I don't. I'm
You
just
can
used to
only
it.
stay in the dark.
I would just say it's objectively better. This is me being an old man on the one thing I won't budge is that paint programs need to have black backgrounds.
I mean, in certain aspects, I can say yes, but not all of them for for other reasons, but I do normally draw on a gray background. No, not through like MS Paint or CAD. It's just like any other drawing application. I
Uh,
draw in gray. I can't draw in black because it hurts to like visualize what I'm doing.
well, I'm playing around. I'm playing around with my model in GIMP, and I don't really care what the background color is for GIMP. I'm just drawing in layers.
Ah, that is true. I mean, it's not like you need to really care about the background in this sort of specific instance.
Yeah.
Well, so you bring up MS Paint brought me like severe memories to a story about a friend over a friend that I had who basically had everyone that they taught math go into university, fail math so hard that they had to flunk. This is a really funny story.
Okay.
So what he did during the pandemic is that he basically would put everyone into a video call, open up MS Paint, and then write down how to do the questions in the tests and the exams. And because of that, a lot of people ended up passing that math test with either like flying colors and etc. Right? But they didn't actually know those concepts. They just copied it down. So you can guess how they felt when they took their first calculus class
No,
in
no,
university.
I understand that because when I went to university and stuff, uh, in high school we didn't have pre-cal because we were so small a school. We just had grade 12 math, and then went to university. It's like, okay, you need to take this placement thing to see if you can actually do cal, and I was like, nope. So I had to take pre-cal and push back the math credit I would have taken into second year.
Well, I mean, it's better that way, and like the such that if you were to do it without any knowledge of calculus, it'd be actually genuinely difficult.
Oh,
But
I can
for
attest.
this person, it was funny. Oh, yes, you can.
Well, I am legitimately dyslexic with numbers, so I hate math to begin with, and calculus is just like woo 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 ooga booga math as far as I'm concerned.
I'm Asian, yet I'm bad at math, so I think that's big enough of an explanation.
Well, like, I consider math useful. Certain tools in the toolkit that has math I find useful. For example, geometry and trigonometry I use all the time in geology because volume of the deposit and geometry for volume of deposit and what you're doing and stuff and yada yada, and trigonometry for doing drill layouts because I know where I need to go, I know where I'm at, I know I have to go this far down so I can get the angle for this here and yada 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 kind of thing.
Oh yeah, those are definitely useful in math. Though not all of calculus is quite useful. I still don't see the reason why I ever needed to learn about integrals or um anything that has to do with integrals. I still don't know why we have them, why we use them, or why they're even there to begin with. I'm guessing it's for like later calculus and like statistics stuff, but
Well,
I'm not going into
that's the
details
only
for any
logic I
reason.
can think of is that it's giving you the tools for the further specializations you would go if you were to continue into math. But yeah, I understand. It's just like, I know if as you go into infinity, you approach but never cross the line. I get it. You can write that down in one sentence.
Yep, exactly. And then they give you the whole all the other stuff and it's like, here's your discontinuations, here's your jumps. And you're like, okay, but when am I ever going to use this? I'm pretty sure all the people that that one friend taught probably thought the same thing. And he said this in like he's a super villain in every single sense of the word, but his whole thought process was I'm teaching all these people and I'm getting them dependent on me so that when they get into the real world, they get the biggest reality slap and realize, "Oh, I'm not there anymore. No one can help me do this math anymore, and now I'm screwed." And that's what he did for a lot of people that he didn't like. He just gave them the answers to basically anything that had to do with math. They went into the secondary education and now they're fucked. That's that's literally what he did it for. So that he could see all these people basically flunk because he was no longer there to help them. And I was in shock. I was in horror. It was like that's oh,
I don't think I ever had a professor that level of asshole, but I did have a few TAs that were that level of asshole.
he's a different level. He wasn't even trying to be an asshole. He was just doing it because he thought it was funny.
I have a
Terrifies me.
I have a philosophy of everything I do is for my own personal amusement, with the caveat of not to the detriment of anyone else, kind of thing.
Oh yeah, same. I agree with that as well. That's similar for me. For him, that wasn't the case at all. Everyone else's expense is to his amusement. Um, Personally, if you had the ability to do it, then I can't exactly say anything other than be like, that's not really humane, but it's not like I can stop him.
You're pretty much their bitch, considering you're paying for the pleasure at this point.
Paying for the pleasure at this
Well,
point.
that's what university fucking is. It's like, yes, sir, may I have some more? Oh, here's my tuition for this year.
No, that is true. Uh, we're slaves to the education system.
I'm glad
Um,
I'm out of it, and I'm never looking back. Bowie says a question for you. What is your favorite biology or science based fact, and what is your favorite existential crisis fact?
uh, I guess it wouldn't even really be a biology-based fact, though I guess the brain does have a bit to do with, well, no, actually it has a lot to do with biology, considering physiology and anatomy. But I think this was a fact that I heard that I don't know if you've heard of this, but depressed people are more likely to understand the reality of the situations that they're in. Like they understand reality in a way that's different from people who don't have depression. They see it in such a flat out light. Like the world genuinely sucks. They know that. The world isn't going to give them what they want. They also know that. They come to terms with reality so easily. And that's what being depressed is. Being depressed is understanding the world around you. If
What?
you don't understand the world around you, you're less likely to be depressed. That
Well,
is actually genuinely a thing.
no, it is a thing and stuff, but I look at this particular instant as that is just an incomplete nihilist. Because people when they think of nihilism, is just like everything is worthless. There's no point to everything. Yes, that is step one. And step two is continuing in spite of that. Most people don't get past step two.
Oh, no, that is true. I agree with that. It is though, from I probably have to pull up some scientific papers for this because I know I have them somewhere.
I don't know.
But
My my
it is scientifically proven that depression is basically a person's understanding of reality is much higher than other people's.
oh
So basically your
yeah, I've heard
brain
this.
understanding the world means you're just your brain is destroying itself over the fact that it understands the world. That is an existential crisis that I'm never going to get over. And when I first heard it, I believe I was in like 10th grade, and then I looked over another scientific paper about it in my first year, and I was absolutely terrified that that was actually true.
Nah, my favorite thing with the brain is the mind and the brain. The mind and the brain are two different things. This is psychology and biology 101. These are two different things. Now here's the kicker that kind of gives me that amuses me. The perception of time between the mind and the brain starts off at 1 and 1, but as you get older, it they become desynced, because your brain will continue to process time as 1 to 1, but your mind will process time uh, differently, because 1 year to a 10-year old is 1/10 of your life. 1 year to 100-year old is 1/100th of your life. The best example I've come across of this is, think back to when you were a kid. How long did summer vacation feel? How long does summer vacation feel when you're a teenager? How long does summer vacation feel when you're an adult? The answer is it feels shorter, but is it actually shorter? No, it just feels
No.
that.
No, you're right. That's I think I've heard of that as well. That
I'm sure it
the
has a.
mind
I'm sure it has a
memory.
proper name. It doesn't come to immediately, but I like the concept.
The concept makes a lot of sense too. I mean, considering a child that knows basically nothing in life and is starting to develop, and then of course they would see things in a much longer fashion because it takes them a lot longer in general to be able to process what's going on. But then the later on you get into life, it takes a shorter and shorter amount of time to realize what's around you, what's happening, what you have to do. And then when time finally flies by, you're like, "Oh, that went quick."
Well, it's
When
not.
really it didn't at all.
Well, it's not just not. It's also not just the processing. Is that I don't know how would I say this. It, it's kind of like it's kind of like a temporal spoiler effect in that you have experience how long a certain like a defined amount of time. Like you experience it once, okay, great. But if you repeatedly experience it and stuff, you're also having the excess baggage of all the years you've lived before and stuff, and it's kind of piling on, kind of thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's also true because then it also has to do with like the amount of memories you have. Was I remember there was something about how the brain only has like what, how much space and storage was it that they said?
I forget, but it's a ridiculously small amount dedicated to memory. But yeah,
Yeah, as in like we only have five. I think I know the year span that they gave out was an approximate 500 years of memories that you're allowed to like contain, but a good portion of that is basically forgotten because your brain decides, "Oh, this memory isn't actually needed. We can just throw it out."
what I'm
So
trying
you don't
to
even actually get to use it all.
yeah, hey chat, what I'm trying to get at is if you have an opportunity to take mind and brain as an elective in university, I say take it because it's a really fun course.
It is.
Also evolutionary biology. That's a fun course too.
Evolutionary biology, and then they tell you, "Oh, this went from this, and this," and you're like, "Okay, so how did that happen?" They're like, "Evolution. They were in different environments. That's all that you need to know."
No,
I'm like,
that's a bad teacher.
"Okay."
Any evolutionary biologist worth their salt is going to teach you the one true answer when it comes to life: sex. That's literally the definition of life.
It's true.
That is the modus operandi. It is the prime directive. It is the mission.
The life sucks. I mean, it's not entirely wrong. In chemistry, you learn that oxygen is basically the thing killing you to begin with, but it's also the thing keeping you alive because it just ruins your DNA the longer you live. So every time you take a breath, that's literally poisoning you, in a sense.
Well, well,
However, don't listen to those actual conspiracy theories and that, oh, we have to get rid of all the oxygen. No, those people are stupid.
as a geologist, I'm aware of the composition of the atmosphere throughout time, and there was a time that there was no oxygen. And when oxygen came along, it was the greatest mass extinction of all time.
It was greatest mass extinction of all time.
Well,
Yes, because oxygen was not supposed to be. I
well,
actually don't know where you heard that from. I'm actually curious.
okay. So here's too long didn't read the history of life. Life it initially was chemotrophs. So they were dealing with like deep sea vents, sulfur, all this nasty stuff.
Oh
That
yeah,
was
that's true.
yeah, that was their life. But then photosynthesizing algae evolved, and they managed to survive this environment. But unfortunately, they ended up becoming the dominant life form. So they kind of their respiration waste gases uh, overran the chemotroph's atmosphere, and that when the photosynthetic life won out, it pretty much resulted in the mass extinction of all the chemotrophs.
Oh. Yeah, because then the environment that they're used to now no longer exists due to a completely other dominant species now living there and changing the environment entirely. Yeah,
Yes, and
that
then
makes sense.
yeah, and then afterward, they kind of end up quote unquote killing themselves because they ran out of carbon dioxide and all that stuff, and then eventually, in between that little inflection point, animals evolved, and then they started breeding out carbon dioxide, and then eventually the system evened out.
Murray makes a good point in that oxygen is plant farts poisoned all other life on Earth at one point, and that's how we all came to be.
Pretty much like early life, early evolutionary life and stuff. It was really massive swings, but on a long time scale.
Yeah, that is genuinely what it is in the first place. I mean, like, went from one place to the other, and now we're here. I like Murray's description a lot. I'm sorry.
No,
Just imagine that.
well, it's true because like we're huffing plant farts and plants are huffing our farts. That's pretty much what it comes down to at the end of the day.
That is true. We breathe out carbon dioxide, they take it, they breathe out oxygen, we take it, and it's an infinite cycle.
Yeah, and unfortunately or unfortunately, depending how you want to look at it, we've become symbiotes to each other at this point and stuff. So like for a time, plants kind of got away with that there because they had the front runners of the chemotrophs kind of setting up the stage, but then you know the whole kerfuffle came along, and now we're at our current state of equilibrium, and hopefully that doesn't get upturned anytime soon.
Yeah, without the state of the climate's looking. Let's hope this is an infinite cycle.
Okay, this is where I have to, as a geologist, this is where I have to get on my soapbox. Is anthropogenic climate change a thing? Yes. Is it the end of the world? No.
No.
That's pretty much what it comes down to. Is it a thing? Yes. Is it a big thing? No.
Well, yeah, I agree. I think even I heard saw some article saying that while it is a cause of concern, it's not so much a cause of concern. Have you seen the videos concerning those types of people that
Yes,
out of
it
their
comes
way
back.
to destroy stuff?
Yeah, yeah. It comes back to our previous topic of once you get over specialized, you kind of put your blinders on and you're hyper focused on this one thing. So, of course, climate scientists are like, yes, carbon dioxide is be all end all. This is like be all end all. Well, yeah, of course, you're getting paid for it. Duh. It's what you studied for. Duh. But then you add in the overriding factors, the dominant factors, aka this fucking thing called the sun, and then the other thing called how the planet is positioned. Those override the fact that it overrides the carbon dioxide factor monumentally.
Yeah. I mean, okay, yeah, you do have a point. You have a point there.
Well,
And
like I say, I'm not like discrediting it. It's like yes, carbon dioxide, anthropogenic climate change is a thing, but it's the matter of scale. You have to keep things in perspective.
yeah, because it's not like it's like the biggest scale that we've ever seen. No, it's not something that's actually a genuine sign of concern. Even I know that. It's just they've kind of what is it? They've turned it into a whole event, almost like they needed to be there, needed to be like how do I say this?
It's no
Sensationalized?
I'm going to tell you how it is. It's a new religion, and they're the priests.
They're the priests.
No, seriously, that's what
Oh,
it comes down to. It is a new religion. Secularism is a thing, and so people have to find their own new belief system, and one of them is this whole global warming hullabaloo. And of course, the priests is like, look to me. I have all the answers. I can solve this problem for you. Just give me money.
that is true. I agree with that. Uh,
I'm gonna put those damn plants in their place and have a salad.
you're gonna put the damn plants in their place
Yeah,
and have a You wish, you wish.
I don't know.
Praise Kaya.
Like, I feel bad for some of these people getting into this here stuff because it's a combination of tribalism and wanting to belong, but also, let's be real, white man's burden.
White man's burden.
No, that
Oh
there,
my god.
the white man's burden is getting worse the longer time goes on. It's getting it was absurd years ago, but it's getting like stupid now. I mean, like really stupid.
Damn.
Well, for example, Asians, like you guys, your Schrodinger's ethnicity.
Schrodinger's ethnicity.
Well, you're minorities when it's convenient, but you're white when you're not convenient.
I mean, that's I I can't say that's wrong because it is true.
No, that
We
is especially in the country we're in right now. That is a thing.
Oh yeah, definitely. Most definitely. If it helps me, I'm a minority. If it doesn't help me, I'm not Asian. I don't know what you're talking about. It's because we have like pretty light skin, which I think has to do with it, and our whole obsession with Eurocentric features.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, one of my favorite hobbies is tribalism and stuff, and my dissertation on that there is that it's all irrelevant and it's completely stupid. But by golly, is it entertaining?
Yeah, I agree.
Yes,
I mean, it's pretty
poor,
entertaining.
and you people, especially you people, Mister Swede.
You people putting Japanese spiritually on my theory.
Well, yeah, well, do you remember the Elizabeth Warren hullabaloo quite a few years ago at this point? But like, remember the Pocahontas meme? You don't? Oh my god. Okay,
Bring,
so
bring me back to.
do you know the American Senator Elizabeth Warren? Does that
Yes,
the name rings a bell? Okay, so
I'm pretty sure that rings a bell.
when she was in university and stuff, she claimed she was part whatever Indian, and she had that on her resume, and she allows her claim to fame as first professor, indigenous professor at so and so university, blah 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 blah, and she kept on that act up until she got in the Congress, and suffice it to say, the people called her out on it and stuff, and she was like, "Okay, I'll take a DNA test and prove it." She was 100% lily white.
Yeah, didn't she say she was Cherokee or something?
I think it was Cherokee, yeah.
I'm almost entirely certain that was it. I remember hearing that, and I was just like, really? Out of all the things you chose, really?
Well, yeah, it's like I'm like I don't know what the percentage is, but one of my great grandmothers on my mom's side was Micmac and stuff. But even then, it's like motherfucker, I'm white. I don't care.
I'm more right than I am any other race.
Pretty much. It was just because I remember my first job, I was working with a bunch of natives and stuff, and the topic came up, and it's like, hey, Godzilla, it's like, why don't you go for your native status? I'm pretty sure you fall under like close enough, and I was just like, no, I'm white. It would be wrong. It would feel weird.
That is true. I mean, if you're the majority, I mean, if it's 50-50, then you can go for it because then you can consider yourself mixed. But if you're like anything over like if you're 75% white and you're 25% something else, I mean, a quarter is still technically considered mixed, but it ultimately also depends.
I don't
And
know.
this is going to sound really wrong, but a lot of people like to attribute what your ethnicity is based on your features alone.
Yes, that is literally okay. We're never going to get away from eugenics, but that's what it comes down to and stuff. And like I say, it's all bullshit and it doesn't mean anything in the long run. But it's funny as fuck.
Yeah, it is. It's hilarious because then they all fight over it and they're like, no, this is that and this is that. Like, no, literally, it's really not that big or important of a deal. You can keep making a hissy fit over it, but is anyone actually going to give a fuck who genuinely has a brain? No, no, they don't actually care.
I don't know. I just keep on finding it funny because I kind of got out of university just as as identity politics was kind of really getting steam, and towards the end there, I actually did have someone kind of call me out. It's like, effectively, it's like, down you mighty whitey. I'm like, motherfucker, I'm Acadian. We got genocided 3 times. Fuck you, and fuck the horse you rode in on. Well, okay. TLDR for Acadian history. Acadians got kicked out of France for being Catholic during the Reformation. They got kicked out of Canada for being French after the French English War. And then after that, a lot of the Acadian enclaves got turned to national parks and got kicked out of those.
Yeah.
And like,
Literally were thrown away 3 times.
yeah, and also when it came to native issues, it's like the natives guys I worked with, a couple of the older ones were trying to guilt trip me for being whitey, but like the younger guy is just like, motherfucker, and it's like, I'm Acadian. Acadians make love, not war, when it came to natives. If you catch my meaning.
Yeah, make love, not war when it came to natives. Well, I mean, some of the schools don't agree with that, specific ones, but yes.
Well, it's kind of a funny thing because uh, the reason why, like, okay, like the English Indian War, the English French War, the French side had a lot of Indian like support because of the Acadian population and stuff. Because the Acadians and the Indians got along because they were pretty much like, leave us the fuck alone.
Yeah.
But then Big Daddy France came along and was like, you're subjects to us. Go fight in English. And it's like, okay.
Yes, sure. Why not? Let's not talk about the fact that France basically lost literally every war that they've ever been in, but
I don't know.
totally fine with France.
Well, as far as Canadian history goes, it could be worse than France. The worst lot for that there would have to be the Scottish, because the Scots founded Nova Scotia and stuff, but they also had a colony in South America, like New Caledonia, and unfortunately, they wanted to base their entire industry off sheep south of the equator. So it's a
Impossible.
No, like Scottish history is weird because they literally took a giant case of gold, gave it to a couple of explorers and settlers, and said, "Go settle South America and make it work." Suffice it to say, they didn't. So when that colony fell, Nova Scotia also fell, and they were like, "Shit, we owe effectively the English a shit ton of money. Okay, here's our colony." So that's how Nova Scotia became an English colony.
Yep. Canadian history.
It's actually utterly fascinating if you actually do pay attention.
Let's be honest, in history class, my only concern was how long it would take for the time that was ticking on the clock to go any faster. Though occasionally there was fun things. I did listen to the World War II section, but that was only because it was the World War II section. Underline that in red.
Oh, this is fair. Okay, I have to answer Mary's question. So the sheep were a problem because what are you going to do with wool at the equator? The equator, where it's humid and hot and you have mosquitoes and shit. Okay, it's humid and hot. You don't wear wool where it's humid and hot. You wear cotton. If
That
you
is true.
if you go down to, like, Brazil, and you wear like head to toes wool, you're gonna fucking die.
From a heat stroke.
Yeah, so that's the reason why the Scottish economy failed when they tried to say, like, okay, we're going to just raise all these sheep and sell all this wool. No one wanted to buy the wool because it was fucking hot. Duh.
I mean, like, yeah, who even thought of that idea? Which particular historical figure even decided that was a good
I
idea?
forget what I could probably look it up, but my mind's starting to wander. But I forget which king it was, but it was one of the honestly, it was one of the last Scottish kings before they got into debt and they had to sell out to the English.
that is allowed into the
No, no, literally, they took they wasted a lot of money, took out a shit ton of loans from the British, and when everything went tits up, and the British came calling, it's like, look, you owe us all this. How are you going to reconcile that? Oh, look at all this land you have. I think we can work out an arrangement, and that's how it went.
and that's exactly how. Yeah, yeah, that sounds about right. All hail the queen.
Well, we got the king now, so for however long that's going to last.
Wasn't there like a specific curse that has to do with um someone
Okay,
taking the seat as royal, but as a man, and they almost always die early?
okay. Well, as far as the seat goes, like, do you know the Stone of Destiny?
The Stone of Destiny.
Okay, so okay, the United Kingdom, which was each individual kingdoms. Okay,
Yes.
now the Stone of Destiny depends who you ask and stuff. It has to deal with either Christianity or King Arthur, but pagans one side, religion the other, whatever. There was this one magical stone where they kinged and queened their royalty. The problem was Scotland and England laid claim to this stone. So
Oh,
so over the centuries there was a bunch of back and forth, but eventually Scotland got their teeth kicked in and got owned by the Brits. Now, some Scottish nationals, this was actually not too long ago, maybe like in the 80s, I think, or 70s, I forget. But pretty much a bunch of kids say like we're going to steal back the Stone of Destiny for us, and when they did, they kind of broke it.
oh. Hmm.
Yeah.
Kids will be kids.
Yeah. So I don't know if specifically cursing the men and stuff, since this happened during Elizabeth QE2's time and stuff, but there's a bit of bad luck there if you want to think about it.
Oh, damn those kids. I'm guessing were they all male? Yeah, they were definitely male. It wouldn't be a female.
I know I a couple of YouTubers I watch I know covered this story. I'll have to look for it later and maybe pin it later, but it's a fun little story.
Now that's why we know all the kings are dying and all the queens live forever.
Well, also then you get into basic biology, then that men die sooner for on average for reasons.
Yeah, uh-huh. I mean, like, in general, you guys were all kind of we are the only species where the female is not the one that's dominant, which surprises me, but at the same time, I guess, hey, that's just how humans are. Because
Well,
in every other species, it's usually
not
the
every
female that has more.
there's a lot of corner cases.
There are a lot of court cases. I shouldn't be saying every, I should be saying the majority, because there's always an exception, especially in science.
Well, well, the thing is with humans have figured out early on, and it's like, all right, women are for breeding, men are for dying. The system works. Let's not change it too much, and that's how we've been for countless millennia.
Yep. Because why exactly would you want the one thing that can give birth to your kids fighting off like dozens of dangers as you just sit down and do nothing?
Insert
And kill
commentary
your
of
family?
women in combat forces here.
Women in combat forces here. The feminists are gonna get to us.
Well, the funny thing with feminists is just like women's right, women's right, women's rights. Oh, by the way, we're going to ship you off to war. Oh, I'm going to become a housewife now. Thank you.
I don't like the thought of dying.
Yeah, and also you're going to be getting all the men killed because, well, this is like they've done a shit ton of studies on this here. Having integrated forces specifically for combat does not work because women can't. It's a physical biology thing. Women can't carry their weight effectively, but on top of that, you look at the men's psychology. All your training immediately goes out the window when she starts crying and you want to protect her. Like your training immediately goes out the window.
That is, yeah. I can say that is true. I mean, men in general were built differently from women to begin with. I mean, you guys are meant to be stronger than us. That's an undeniable truth. That's that's genuinely science, biology. There's nothing nobody can say ever that'll ever tell me that women were made equal in terms of strength to men. They weren't. That's not how it works.
Yes, it's almost
It's
like
never how it works.
it's almost like you know different but yet complement kind of thing. It's almost like there's a system that's worked.
Well, yeah, that's for most animals. It's just that humanity was unfortunately born with conscious and the ability of free will and the ability to think
I love
complicated thoughts.
I I took a couple of philosophy classes, and honestly, the concept of free will has always tickled my fancy.
Always tickled your fancy in what way?
I subscribe to the concept that free will is an illusion.
Yeah, I mean, like, in which specific way to you is it? Like,
For me, there's no one specific way because, again, I don't deal in absolutes. There are multiple factors in this imperfect system.
yes, I agree with that.
So you can either look at, say, biology speaking, there's no free will because your biology is saying, breed, motherfucker, breed.
I mean, yeah, that's the entirety of the ecosystem. I mean, not the, but of our behavior in general is just to procreate so that our species doesn't die. That's literally the majority of animals, once again, is just turn, continue the next generation and then die, knowing that you at least made the next generation.
Yeah. No, I'm with Porian. Free will is an illusion. Religion is a joke. We're all ruled by something greater. Memes. Actually, that's actually another thing for illusion of free will. Are you choosing to propagate the viral thought? Is this a conscious decision, or is it a thing to do? Who knows?
Who knows? We don't know what parameters we work off of to begin with. I mean, that's why psychology is so interesting to people.
I find psychology interesting, but as a scientific discipline, it's way too wishy washy for my liking.
It is kind of wishy-washy, definitely. Um, it's a mental health is super important on a consistent daily basis. I mean, it's not like it's not. I'm not saying it's not.
Well, yeah, yeah. It's like it's kind of like the climate thing. It's like yes, it's the thing. The only argument is we're having is the level of degree.
The level of degree. Yeah.
Well, yeah, like psychology is a thing, yes, but how much does it influence us as a species varies person to person, and then you start looking at group dynamics, and then yada yada yada. It just kind of spider webs from there.
Better webs from there. I mean, I mean, yes, psychology does have like a big part, but it's not like you need to know the inner workings of your mind and how it functions completely to be able to like live out your life. Yes, we know this is a thing, and yes, it's important, just like you said. It's just you're right. It's not an absolute. It's not something set in stone that we absolutely need to know. It's just kind of there, and we know it exists, but it's not like we need to actually make use of the knowledge from it.
Well, yeah, like this is why I kind of I when I worked and when I was in school and stuff, I did make an active habit of picking on the more how do I say this nicely, the more resolute people in their convictions and stuff. It's like I know this thing and therefore I deem it to be true. I'm like okay, on what basis? Do you think it's true just from your own perception? Do you deem it true as a function of the universe? Even putting in like true because of God? Like these are all equally valid but equally unprovable things.
Yeah. I mean, that's the basis of anything that has to do with science too, isn't it? It's just that this is a hypothesis. You test to see if it's close to this hypothesis. If it's not, then you redo it.
Well,
And then you
not
keep
since
doing it
2020.
until you finally get
Hey,
it. It's not since 2020. No, we science has to be absolutely correct for anything to be considered proper anymore. It's like, no, science is the whole ordeal of trial and error. And even if you believe that what you found out is true, later on, if you test it again, there's a chance that it could be completely different.
imp,
None
imp,
of your truths are set in stone.
imp. How does it feel to see science become dogma in your lifetime?
Physically, it's so painful because everyone is like, why are you all like, this completely ruins what science is
I
and what
know.
scientists have been doing for years. For years.
Yes,
And
I
then
know.
they're just ruining it.
Well, it's also kind of funny, well, specifically for the pandemic thing stuff. And since you're going to dentistry, it's kind of tangentially related. The whole pandemic set back confidence and I get, yeah, it is a confidence issue. They put back the confidence in the medical profession back down to zero, which is amazing.
Yeah, I know everyone's making a whole fit over what they believe is right over medicine and etc. And I'm like, you can't be this. You don't have a degree in this. You don't have the knowledge to tell me what's right or wrong. So why do you believe you have the ability to tell me what's right or wrong if you don't even have that knowledge yourself? It's the worst. I hate it. Everywhere I go, it's people spouting nonsensical bullshit that makes no sense whatsoever in terms of the actual science behind it. And they're like, I know it's right because somebody I trusted, who probably isn't even a licensed professional, said it was true. That's not how it works at all.
But
It couldn't.
like I said earlier with the climate thing and stuff, people have an inherent desire to belong as the group and a sense of being. So for that particular case, it was the climate change thing, but also now it's the medical trust, the science thing. It is all just different flavors of religions.
Yeah, that's basically what it is now. You are right on the account that everyone is believing something that has literally no basis. I'm not saying that some religions don't have no basis. No, some
Okay,
religions have interesting things, and I'm not going to get into that.
well, no, even with science, even in science, the concept of a leap of faith exists. Leap of
It is. That is true.
a leap of faith is the cornerstone of science because the leap of faith is your hypothesis.
Yep. I mean, like, your hypothesis could even be the most ridiculous thing anyone has ever seen, and it could actually be right.
Or it could be
So,
wrong. Who knows?
exactly. You got to test it out to see whether or not that's actually the case. And then if you test it out in a different way, you might even get a completely different answer. And it's just like, oh, it's actually neither of these two things.
I know.
Huh.
And it's really particularly fun with the biology thing too nowadays. Well, the trans issue and stuff. It's like, oh, so stunning and brave. It's like, yeah, you know what was stunning and brave and also won a Nobel Peace Prize? Lobotomies. I'm not kidding. Lobotomies won the Nobel Peace Prize for this wonderful new medical technique, and it only came out in the wash later on and what actually it meant. And we're just watching history.
People
We're
don't
watching
realize.
history repeat itself for all these different things.
I honestly, whenever anyone brings up like the whole trans issue with me, I'm just they're like, you know what? People do what they want. At this point, it's not like I can say anything. Anytime you even try to spout the words science or bring up the words uh academic articles, they're just like, "Oh, you're just trying to figure out a way to undermine my confidence, my being, my existence," as if that's the only thing that defines you, but
Well,
go off, I
there's an
guess.
age old saying, you may not be interested in politics, but politics are interested in you.
Uh-huh. I wish it wasn't interested in me.
Well, such is the human condition.
Yep. I'm actually sometimes it makes me question myself whether or not I still want to go into biology because now I have to deal with all of this BS and
Well,
people asking me these questions and I'm like, I'm going into dentistry. I'm not a medical student.
okay, well, it kind of pains me to say this, but this is where I have to give you and the audience a pep talk. I went through this. You'll go through this. We'll all go through this, and we'll all get through this. You kind of just have to keep your nose in your books, keep your grades up, and just like smile and nod when the priest of the day comes along for their tithes.
Just smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave, and then you'll get through it all.
One of my philosophies in life is that we're given one choice, two options: laugh or cry. You have to choose very carefully which one of these works best for you.
Or which one works best in the situation you're in.
That's true. I elect to choose mostly laugh, but there are times in the past where I've cried, and that was the right thing to do for that time in that particular situation.
That I agree with that. I mean, funny thing. I don't think we'd laugh during a funeral or laugh when a significant. Actually, no. You know what? I have laughed at a funeral once, but that's a completely other story. Another that I
Everybody
don't wanna say.
everybody deals with stress in their own ways, and it may be socially improper, but sometimes that's how it rolls.
Yeah, you can't control it after all. Once again, psychology.
Always entertaining, if nothing else.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's mostly entertaining.
Well, here's the thing. You're still early. You're early on in your career and education and all that stuff, and you have to set up your own headspace. Like you know what works for you, but you do have to give and take with the group, with the out group, whether that be personal, friends, family, or acquaintances.
Hmm.
So,
I
yeah,
mean,
you can joke with your friends and console with your family and stuff, and like for like coworkers, in this case, fellow students or teachers and stuff, you're just like, yes, I'm prim and proper. I will do the thing. I will say the magic words to get the result I want.
yeah, of course. I mean, that's society in general. It's not like I'm never going to get anywhere if I just do whatever I want. Though I wish I could.
Well, yeah, that's kind of the thing. Like, no offense or buts. I know I'm a sociopath, but I'm a functioning one in that I know how the system works.
And you play the system once in a while, not all the time.
I try not to. I am an introvert sociopath. So I am the leave me the fuck alone ATF.
And I'll leave you the fuck alone.
No, no, seriously, I'm the living embodiment of the meme of I just want to be left alone. Oh no, we have an extremist here.
I'm an extremist.
No, seriously,
Uh-oh. Yikes.
that's literally the joke, but that's literally the meme. But Waco and Ruby Ridge and that kind of stuff was a thing.
I mean, that. So your basis is all just fuck off and I'll just do what I need to do. But if I need to talk to you, then I'll concede, is the whole basis.
Yep. And
Yeah.
here's the kicker and stuff. I trained hundreds of people over the decades at work.
Oh.
Well, that's kind of thing. Like most of the people I had to train for work was students straight out of school, and I was their first cold splash of reality of like, okay, you learned all this shit in school. Doesn't mean crap here. I'm teaching you how you actually do your job.
Ah, yes, that's why we have co-op stuff now. That
I tried to do
lady teach
co-op.
us.
I bailed on that there like immediately.
Oh, why was that?
I don't know. It was kind of this one that's like, I have to deal through you guys, whereas I could just go hire my like here's the thing, they want like the university I went to, you had to do everything through the co-op program, so you couldn't like apply or negotiate your contract on your own kind of stuff. You had to go through your supervisor, whereas I was,
Oh,
up until now, I was just like, I've always done it myself, so fuck you.
jeez. Why would they be doing it for you though? Wouldn't you want to know
I
the
don't
terms that you're going to be
know.
doing?
So you understand why I bailed, because they were nannying the co-op students like left, right, and center. So it's just like, what's even the fucking point?
That's not even something you should be nannying to begin with. These people are supposed to know what terms and contracts that they're doing. They need to learn how to negotiate that on their own terms, right? You can't just have someone just do it all for you and be like, "Oh yeah, here's what it is. Now you can go do it now." Like, what about for them in the future? This goes back to like the story of the
Yeah,
my
exactly.
friend that taught them math. It's like now they don't know what they're doing, so how are they going to keep going forward?
Okay, I have to explain. Murray, a co-op program is it's a work program. So say you go to university and stuff, and you elect to go into a co-op program. What you do is you do your course load, and say over summertime, you'll do a contract work. And at the end of your contract, you'll have to write up a report of like, okay, this is what I did for my summer job, kind of thing. That's literally what it comes down to.
Yep. Sometimes, from what I remember, some co-op students were literally treated like interns. They didn't get paid, and sometimes they didn't even actually get hired.
No, this is also another thing and stuff, because I was hearing some of the quote unquote make work positions that were available to the co-op program that was available to me at the time and stuff. I was just like, okay, I could go do some intern work with the ministry, or I could fucking go work at a mine and make money. Hmm, really tough decision there. Well, yeah, yeah, Mary. It is effectively an it is an internship through your school, and if you're lucky, you'll get paid.
That's everything. Yes, exactly. Either you actually get paid or they're just gonna exploit you for your work and you don't actually get anything. They'll be like, "Oh, you got the experience for it," which, I mean, yeah, I guess it kind of looks good on your resume that you have that experience, but you didn't get paid for it. You wasted your
Nowadays
time.
the kids call it being paid in exposure.
I hate that because
I knew that was going to get you, so I had to mention it.
I can't believe you do this. No, I can't believe you've done this. Oh, no, it hurts. It hurts because it specifically happens in the art community where everyone's just like, "Oh, I'll pay you an exposure instead of money." Bitch, I worked for you not for the exposure. I worked for you for the money to begin with. This is not a, "Oh, we're friends" type of transaction. This is a business transaction. Treat it like one.
Well, that's why whenever I get a new job, going through the hiring process and the interviews and stuff, either the interviewer loves me or hates me, because again, I don't give a shit about your feelings and stuff. It's like, why are you here? To make money.
Yeah. That
I'm not going to bullshit.
I bet they wanna hear everything else.
I've never bullshitted in a job interview, and that's cost me some jobs, but that's gotten me other jobs and stuff. So usually it does end up evening out in the end. And the people who will hire me for being honest, I tend to rather like to work for and end up working for longer, because I, I'm I'm effectively filtering who's going to hire me just by that their inquiry.
Oh, yeah. I mean, especially with some of the questions that they asked too. It's just like, "Oh, it's because you saw all of this in our company, and so you just wanted to be in like a work-friendly place, and so we're all going to be making friends." And yeah, I want to make friends. Um, but I don't think that was the main purpose of this job. I mean, I bullshit all of my interviews because I know what they want to hear. And at some point, I'm just like, okay, well, it's either this or I get the lesser version of what I want.
Well,
I'm
I
gonna go
can
bullshit.
I can lie through my teeth without batting an eye, but that's just not me. It's just like, look, take it or leave it. Like this is wasting. It's like It's like I can waste my time however I want, but fuck you if you waste my time.
That is, yeah. I mean, like, I realized that after some jobs that I've been through, and it's just like, well, rather than jobs, they're more like volunteering positions that I needed to get to be able to, because there's certain things that I have to do, like especially through co-op, like for example, volunteering at a actual like for an actual dentist. If I have that under my belt, I actually get considered better if I were to actually go into dentistry. The problem with that is a whole lot of bullshit. You have to bullshit it. There's just no other way around it. You have to bullshit it even if it wastes your time. You don't really have a choice because hey, you're wasting your time now rather than wasting your time later dealing with the annoyance that is getting let into the field to begin with.
Well, this is
But
this is true. Like, no, I'm totally on board, and I'm a firm proponent on the concept of running a cost benefit analysis, and that can go for anything.
yeah, I mean like it's always a cost benefit sort of relationship when it comes to education to begin with. I mean, if it weren't something that cost me a lot, I wouldn't bullshit it. I'd just be like, I'd be like you, and I'd be upfront about it. I'd be like, yeah, no, that's not really what I came here for. I came here for this alone. This isn't this isn't anything else, and I'm not willing to make it anything else. But other times you just have to grit your teeth and be like, no, I'm totally for this other reason that I actually don't give a fuck about, but I'm doing it anyway.
Well, that was me the last time. The Okay, so my gun club went insolvent, so I had to get a new gun club as condition for having some of my restricted firearms and stuff.
Right.
The guy I got, the initial trainer I got for this new gun club and stuff, he was ex-military and he was a big hard ass and stuff. He was like, "I want you here for the community." I'm just like, I'm just here to keep my license, but whatever. I'll tell you what I'll say the magic words.
Get on his good side, get it done, and then never go back. That's that's what it is.
That's literally what it came down to. And actually, the instant he okay, for this gun club, I had to go for 5 sessions, and he was the first couple of sessions, but the last three, he was like, "Okay, you're good enough. I'm going to pawn you off on someone else." But that someone else I ended up working with, we got along just great. We were best buds. We had the best time of our lives. It was fun. And then talking with the president of the club, it was just like, "So, how was your training and stuff?" And like, "Oh yeah, I was great with Buddy." It's like, how was your first guy? You know the answer to that. Why are you asking? And he was just like, he just chuckled. It's like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He was an interesting fellow, but if you wanted to be completely real about it, he was strict as hell for no reason in particular.
Well, my favorite thing is that I countermanded him on one thing, and that was my biggest mistake. I countermanded him on one thing.
Which was?
He was like, "Okay, check your barrel," and they're like, and him, the way he was trained, and the only way you're allowed to do it is that you have to look down your barrel, and the way I was trained was like looking down your barrel to make sure it's clear is a dumbass thing to do. What you do is you either put your cleaning rod down there or flash a light or something and do anything other than put the barrel of the gun between straight up to your head.
Well, yeah, because what if you didn't put it on safety?
No, you understand the logic, but the way he was trained and the way he was set in his ways was that you take a quick peek, and that
Yeah, no. No.
yeah. But after that, there I was like, okay, this is how it's gonna be. So I kind of just rolled with it, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna do and say what I'm gonna do for what you tell me, but then I'm gonna do the proper thing when I no longer have to deal with you.
Yeah. Still, it's just I mean, I get it because he's ex-military, so that's probably how he was trained back then. It's just when you take it into perspective, I think anyone with sort of a functioning brain can realize putting a barrel to your head is not exactly the most safe way of doing things.
Well,
And I'm not even trained in guns.
that's the thing. Well, like you have the barrel up and you poke your head over and take a quick peek, and that's how he was taught, and that's how he was pushing and stuff. But how I was taught, and logical thing is like You have a cleaning rod. Poke it in. If you see it, if the cleaning rod goes all the way to your open action and you can see the fucking thing, that means there's nothing there.
Which is a good thing. That's a smarter way of doing it.
Me and the guys, me and the other kids, we've come up with even a better idea for checking your barrel if it's clear. Of your fucking flashlight and your smartphone, turn on the light, put your phone up to your barrel, and if you see the light, huzzah, it's clear.
Oh, I didn't know that. Like, I don't really know how the construction of guns is. I have never seen blueprints for them, nor have I actually ever
The,
fired one myself.
they're not as
So I'm a little curious on how that works.
okay. They're not as complicated. They're not as complicated as you may think. So actually, yeah, I could show you what I mean instead of just saying it. So let's see. Fire arm parts. Find a picture. Do, 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 do.
What if the bullet shrunk? It happens in the cold, bro. This is not doing laundry.
I'm just looking for a picture with an open action that would explain things best. Can I have one with an open action? Firearm, open action. Do, 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 do. Why does it? Why am I getting a shit ton of pictures for brake lever? Oh. Can I have one decent picture? Oh my fucking god, Google. This is bugging me now. Okay, this will do. Let's see. Save image as. Save. Add image. I don't care. Browse. Downloads. Move you down. Why can't I select? Where did you go? Cotton Eye Joe.
Go. Ammunition shrinkage is a real problem that affects thousands of men.
Okay.
As if you don't have
Well, no,
thousands
well,
of men.
the problem is I've just had right there was that OBS. I have my sources set up in folders, and so if I accidentally drop into a folder, the folder properties overrides the image properties.
Oh.
Okay, so either way, picture of gun is on screen now. Okay, so the okay, the barrel is the front part. You see, like, the tube. You see that?
Hmm.
Okay. You see the open part on the top?
Yes.
That's the action. Okay. So if I wanted, so the way Buddy wanted me to look would be point the barrel up, take a quick peek, poke my head over and take a quick peek down the barrel. But
No.
but what I would do is I would take my camera, put on the flashlight, put my camera, put the LED straight up to the barrel, and then I look into, like, I put my head over the action, which is not the business end, it's the opposite end. And if I see the light, that means there's nothing there obstructing the light. Do you understand the logic in this?
Yes. That does actually make sense.
Yeah. Pretty much the rule one bar none is you always treat the thing as if it's fucking loaded. And in treating it as it's fucking loaded, you maintain discipline and you keep the business end as the barrel pointed in the safe direction. The safe direction is not at your fucking eye.
Oh, no, most definitely, which is why when I heard you say that, I was just like, isn't that dangerous?
Yes. But I wasn't going to be winning that argument because he was set in his ways. And of course, I wanted to become part of this club. So, of course, I had to play ball for this one guy. And it was kind of funny because I told the other guy who ended up trading me, like, the hullabaloo I had with him and stuff. And he was just like, And I shit you not, he was like, "Oh my god, he's still going on about that," and I'm like, "Yes." And
Yes.
and we both just shook our heads and just went about our business.
No, but yeah, it's just like in a situation where like, let's say for example, something wasn't done properly and that someone actually got hurt. It's just not the smartest way of doing it, even from a perspective of someone who's just never done anything with guns. It just doesn't sound right. So I think your methods definitely work better than whatever he was suggesting. It's just,
Well,
I
yeah,
think
like
anyone can agree.
well,
Don't point it at yourself.
well, yeah, like even Todd says, like there are literally specific lasers made just for literally this one thing, where you put it into the barrel, and if you see it's the same thing. You see the light either if it's a flashlight or your laser, and then you're good to go.
That is true.
You know, like
That is
it's kind of one of those things. Like it's like using the tools available to you, like work smarter, not harder, and all these other sayings and expressions that people seem to forget.
Yeah, I do agree with that. It's just that's I can't believe you actually went through something like that. That just doesn't seem real
You come
in the sense of
like I said before, you're still early on in your life, and you're going to come across all kinds of characters.
and some that completely disregard their own physical safety, it seems.
Yep, and you're getting the VTubing, so you're going to have a whole level of menhair to deal with.
Yeah, just like that one image of all the like a room covered in everything that had to do with Pippa, and I was like, what? Why? But understandable, I suppose. And then he said, and then Proctor told me it's just a matter of time, and I was like, oh boy,
Well,
oh boy.
like Fight Club, the quote Fight Club, on a long enough time scale, everything goes to zero. Or in this case, on a long enough time scale, everything goes to Minhara. I'm not wrong.
Oh, oh no. Oh my goodness.
I kind of
Mm.
like our fellow Canadian Todd's way with words and these things. A guy saying to look down a barrel to check for obstructions has the same logic as stab yourself to see if the knife is sharp.
I mean, it is one way to see if it's sharp.
Well, yeah, but it's a method. It's a methodology thing. Can you do it? Yes. Should you do it? No.
No.
And
Are some people gonna do it anyway? Yes.
well, again, getting back to me, like training students straight out of school and stuff, and they're like, "I learned it how to do this way in school." That's nice. That's not how we do it. How you do it is very like you get when you get to the workforce properly. It's kind of one of those things. It's like the kids coming straight out of school is like, I want to put all the detail in. It's like, no, you don't. Perfect is the enemy of good enough. You need to be good enough to get it out the door and move on to next thing.
Yeah, because if you focus on one thing for too long, then you're just leaving everything else behind, and now you just have a pile up of work that just keeps piling and piling because you're focusing on one thing. That's why perfectionism is a pain.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like me training people how to do their jobs was less how to do their job and more kind of like buck breaking them of the reality of the matter.
Hmm.
Which I
Yeah, that they can't just stay stuck in their ways.
Well, yeah, that's kind of thing. But thankfully, most of them were students straight out of school. A couple of times, I had some, shall we say, old farts come into
Hmm.
like I had to train them up on our like everywhere has a system. Every place has its own system for things and stuff, and training a student is a lot easier because their system was learning about it. But having an old person come in with their old system is like, I worked with this system. That's nice. That system hasn't existed for 30 years. We're doing this system now.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like yeah, but because we found a better way of doing it in the future, or well, currently now in the present, there's no reason to be doing it the old-fashioned way, though I suppose some people still want to do it the old-fashioned way.
Well,
That's
that's
what kids
well,
do.
well, that's kind of nice and stuff. Like for example, when I first learned how to do a drill program, sure, doing it on paper taught me the concept and principles, fine stuff. But doing it in AutoCAD and doing it AutoCAD with a dedicated module to do those very specific calculations was even faster.
Yeah, exactly. It's efficiency. I mean, like, it's good to learn the basics first, like you said, and then actually get into
Cutting some corners that aren't really cutting corners, but they do make it faster for you.
Yeah, like for example, like most of my work was logging core, looking at the rock and adding it to our database, yada yada. And some of those techniques are still to this day analog and are still used. But there, over the last like even like last 5 years, there's a lot of technology coming online, and that NFT girl that Kershey talked with last night, and who Murray's going to talk with tonight, I'm I,
Huh?
I'm not trying to sell a system and stuff. There are actual legitimate technological systems at work. Like for example, uh, I would measure out section A to B with a ruler. Okay.
Mhm.
Now you have effectively laser guides. Like it looks like a mouse. It's kind of like a stud finder kind of thing. So I have effectively a specialized mouse with a laser where I can measure from point A to point B and also take angles and stuff, and it goes all straight into the system.
Yeah.
And training some old people who logged core the old-fashioned way, teaching them how to effectively use a mouse on rock, like a computer mouse on rock, was a hurdle too great for some people.
A hurdle too great for some people.
I shit you not. Some people are just like, I can use a computer mouse. And I'm like, okay, so what's the problem? I don't know.
I don't know. If you don't know what the problem is, then how do I know what the problem is?
Yeah, it's just like, motherfucker, it's like, have you used a level in carpentry before? Yes, this is literally it, but with a laser. That's it.
And I'm guessing they still didn't understand.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
bad. Some of them were bad.
it's really, really bad. It's like you teach them the right way, but they just keep defaulting to the one way that you told them. No, you shouldn't do that. You should do it this way because it's easier for you. Well, no, I'm used to it this way, so I'm going to do it that way anyway, and then it comes out absolutely fucked at the end of the day.
Yeah. There's 2 points. There's 2 points where it becomes a problem, in that it takes more time, and there's more opportunity to introduce errors.
Yeah, that's why we come up with new techniques all the time and why we keep focusing and like making them better with each ever passing second, precisely to minimize those errors.
Yeah, exactly. Like before I got laid off my last job and stuff, they were just starting to roll out uh, handgun, well, not handguns, but hand holdable X-ray diffraction guns.
Oh.
So pretty much here's a geochemistry 101. When I get a rock sample, what I do is I pick up my sample, it'll get cut, and we'll send the cut to the assay lab. Now what the assay lab does is they'll crush it, melt it into a glass, shoot a laser into it, and then from that laser reading you can figure out what elements are in it. You understand that?
Yeah, because we've done that similarly, but not with like actual minerals, but more like solutions in a lab.
Okay, you can do the same thing with solids. Now, here's the thing: there are guns coming out in the market right now that kind of built in all of that system into it. So it's not as, you don't get good numbers as going through the proper lab procedure, but it's kind of one of those good enough kind of things while you're at your bench to just shoot your XRF gun and be like, okay, gold's here. I'm definitely going to sample here, kind of thing.
Yeah, it makes things quicker off, of course. It's always about efficiency anyways. It's not about perfection.
Yeah.
Never was.
Well, yeah, because it's particularly in my discipline of geology and stuff. Geology economic geology at the end of the day is a series of refinements. It's a matter of scale. You look at a regional scale, and you've closer in, closer in, and closer in, and as you go closer in, like as you increase your scale and you get more data and stuff, you refine and become more confident with your model.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you said, that does sound like just more or so refinement and fine tuning to finally get to like the final product that you're actually satisfied with, correct?
Yes.
All right. I mean, it's kind of similar in science, though I don't think there's anything I've had to need to refine yet. Oh, I'm scared about cancer biology.
Cancer. I okay. One of my friends, when I was in university, he was going to become a doctor and stuff, and he did take a course effectively to that effect of cancer studies and stuff, and he was telling me all this stuff and
Hmm.
whatnot. It's like that is utterly fascinating and completely horrifying.
It is. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm.
The fact that the human body didn't get big enough for it to essentially get away from cancer is a terrifying, terrifying thing. If we were the size of elephants, we wouldn't have cancer. As you can see, with most large animals, no large animal, like really large animal, is capable of having cancer. Why? Because they have such a large surface area ratio for like their entire circulatory system that it's genuinely impossible for like cancerous cells to multiply enough to affect the entire body or a particular organ.
Well, that's
So
why.
that's why
Yet,
nothing has cancer.
well, that's why fruit flies and mouses are the go-to for cancer research because they're small, high cell division, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, exactly. It's precisely because of that we use mice to begin with. Um, that and because they also have quite a similar DNA track with us.
Yeah, actually, like since I went into school under biology, most of my electives were biology. This is why I'm having fun with this conversation and stuff. And like probably the worst biology course I took was invertebrates because my
I
invertebr
felt pain.
yeah, my invertebrates course ended up just being parasites. The course.
They don't even actually talk about other invertebrates like jellyfish or anything like that.
No, but pretty much my invertebrates professor, she and her husband are sheep farmers. They're both biologists, but they
Oh.
run a sheep farm. So she always put it in the context of farming. So it's like we're going to learn all these different classes of vertebrates, and here's all the keystone species for these groups. And surprise, surprise, they're all fucking parasites. And here's the different kind of parasites I have to deal with my sheep. And every case study she related back to her sheep, and it was funny, but it was practical and horrifying, but practical.
Practical and horrifying. You remind me of the one professor that went off the rails every single time anybody mentioned the words water, sea, ocean, and whatnot because he had all of his research to do with whales. So everything had to do with whales. At one point, I even considered maybe just getting him like a whale plushie at the end of the year, and I feel like that would have made me his best friend for like the rest of his life. I'm not even joking with you. I probably should have done that. It would have worked out for me.
I have a similar story. My introduction to geology professor ended up becoming my honors thesis supervisor. We got along great and stuff.
Oh.
And his specialization is petrography, specifically metamorphic petrology in terms of glass and ceramics.
Oh.
And that's what my thesis ended up being. But here's the story of how I became his best friend. Since I went to school in Halifax and I grew up in Cape Breton. And Cape Breton has a lot of old farms and stuff. So we have an old barn. And so I dug out some old ceramics and some old glass from probably like the 40s or 30s. And I gave it to him and stuff. And he was just like, oh, sweet. This is nice. It was a cute little present. He got all excited and stuff. And he was just like, ooh, because that's his field.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you give someone something that they're specifically interested in, of course they'll be happy about it. Especially if something they're obsessed with, like whales.
Yeah. Or in my case, old pottery.
Yeah. I mean, like it was a good present on your part because you did know what he liked. I mean, I did too. I just didn't give him the present. The
Yeah.
whole reason for that is that he was
let's just say he was a prof that just didn't give a fuck about anything other than whales and his research. So when we went into his class, we basically learned nothing.
Well, it's one of those things like, like I come from the Kiwi farms and I'm on the virtual asylum and stuff. Autism is a way of life, but it's kind of cute to see like little instances of autism in like other places other than the internet and VTubers and all this shit and stuff. But see something like that there, it's like I like whales. It's like you do you, sir. I respect that.
You do. No, I respected it too, but then at the end, when you finally get to the final exam and you're there like, fuck, I don't know what I'm doing.
Don't get me wrong. I went through that too. Like my economics resource geology and economic geology. These were two different courses. It was a full year thing, two different courses taught by the same guy who was pretty much on his way out to retiring and he did not give a shit. I love the guy, but we all got screwed as far as actually learning stuff. It was an easy course.
Uh-huh.
They were easy courses for us, but we didn't learn what we should have and stuff. And in hindsight, what can you do?
Yeah, okay, professors are different from elementary teachers to begin with, and we both know this. It's
Yeah.
like regardless of what happens and what they do, as long as they are still within their rights and are following the rules that the university has set for them, they can do fuck all.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, especially if you have tenure.
Oh, yep. That's when they really don't give a fuck.
Well, not to toot my own horn, I actually got a part-time professor fired once. She didn't have tenure, and she had no business doing what she did.
What did she do?
She didn't do jack shit. It's like I'm paying.
Oh.
It's like I'm paying for nothing. It's like fuck off. So I got her fired.
No, yeah, no, that's completely understandable.
Yeah,
That
it comes.
tenure, though, it ruins things.
Well, it comes back to the thing of it's like I'll waste my time, but if you waste my time, you are my mortal enemy, and I will destroy you.
Well, yeah, because hey, time is precious and time, like they say, is money. In this case, it literally is.
And it's also the root of all evil. I love that little math equation. It's funny.
Yes, it is. It is the root of all evil. But we still like it anyway.
Well, here's the thing. Like money is nothing. Money is nothing in and of itself, other than a mean to quantify your time.
Yeah. I
Time
mean,
time is the ultimate
yes,
currency.
time has always been the ultimate currency. We run on time, on borrowed time, to be exact, because you don't know when you're gonna die anyway.
Yep.
Uh, I feel like I was supposed to say something about professors. Oh yeah, okay. You remind me of something when you said you fired a professor. A professor at my school couldn't get fired because of his tenure.
Okay.
Even though he had uh basically assaulted multiple female students, he just couldn't get fired because
Like
of
you
that
do.
tenure. They couldn't do anything. And even though there was so much evidence against him and people rallying him to get fired, they just couldn't do anything. It's just not possible. Especially when um he had that tenure, so like the university was kind of just sitting there twiddling their thumbs like, so what the fuck do we do now? You would fire him, but you can't do that because of his tenure. So now you're just at a stalemate until he finally gets, I don't know, arrested or something like that, and then you can legally fire him.
Yeah, it's kind of yeah, things like that sucks. Like that reminds me of something I had at work. So we had this one helper. He got past his probation, so pretty much when you're probation for work, you can be fired for whatever reason. Like you can terminate a contract sight unseen. But once you pass your probation period, you're a full time employee and stuff, and the requirement to get rid of you becomes that much higher. So Buddy made it through his probation, best employee ever. But the instant he got off his probation, it went right off a cliff, and his true personalities and work ethics or lack thereof came apparent. But then at that point, we couldn't fire him.
Oof.
Yeah, But eventually, him being how he was and stuff, there became enough incidents and stuff that we could build a case to be like, okay, look, HR, get rid of this guy. Here's like a Bible level worth of stuff. Get rid of him.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, if you're that much of a hassle to deal with, you should be gotten rid of, but right after probation, you can't do that right away.
Well, I remember the thing that got rid of him specifically is that since I worked at a gold mine, everything there was cameras everywhere. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so pretty much what he did is he had anger management issues, and he would wreck shit. He would throw hammers. He would upend this and that and stuff, and that got caught on camera.
Ooh.
Yeah, but pretty much he was public enemy number one for me specifically because I remember specifically one time. Okay, so I should probably have a picture of this. Either way, okay. So when you drill rock with a diamond drill, you'll get tubes of rock, and these tubes of rock will be in boxes, wooden boxes, in lines. Drill core.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew specifically something was wrong with this particular box of core, in that nothing made sense. And sometimes drillers will fuck up and, little oopsies, fucky wuckies, and that's fine. But I was able to pin it on him because he would have
Oh.
he would be lackadaisical when opening the core and stuff, and he would just toss things everywhere, move like footage blocks and like like identification blocks in the boxes and stuff, and he would just toss them and just put them wherever and stuff. And I caught him doing this more than once. And when I came across this, the reason why I got my goat because this particular box was the ore zone, like the gold zone I was looking for in this particular program that I was babying from day one. And I was just like, I just snapped. I was like, okay, we're going to the tapes. And then I went to the tapes, and it's just like he pretty much tossed this box of rocks and then slapped it back together and put it back in the shelf.
Uh, and it was something that you've been working on for a while. Yeah, I can see why you got pissed.
Yeah, so it was just like, let's roll the tapes, and it was just like, all right, you're gone, fuck off.
This is for ruining my work.
Well, let me put things into perspective, okay? I got paid $40 an hour. It cost us to drill like between $50 and $100 per foot, and that's just drilling. So my $40 an hour, and then like $50 to $100 per foot, and there's like 50 foot a box. And then when you send it off for sampling, it's like maybe like, I don't know, probably now with inflation, it's probably like $30 or $40 to get it sampled and stuff. So each box is like hundreds to thousands of dollars of stuff,
Yeah.
and to just like literally flip the table on it and stuff, it's like, well, we're not getting that money back because like once you interrupt once you break it up and stuff, like the data becomes useless.
Well, yeah.
So these multi-million dollar programs, like a little fuck up like that there, it's like, you wasted us millions of dollars. You do realize that you are gone.
Of course he is. I mean, he's lucky that he didn't have to pay for anything to begin with.
I know. It's not even the worst story. I remember one time there were these two shifts underground, like miners. Shifts of miners, and pretty much what they did is that they know how our surveyors work, and that the surveyors will come in with like a can of spray paint and mark up the face to blast. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what they did is they got in their head of like, we get paid to move rock. It doesn't matter if that rock is ore or waste. So what they did is that each shift grabbed a can of paint and did their own markups, and they were just mining willy nilly.
Ooh.
Suffice it to say, millions of dollars were wasted, and two shifts got fired.
Well, yeah, you're not gonna do it properly. Of course, you're gonna get fired from that.
Well,
This stupid looking thing.
Well, it's kind of one of those things and stuff. It's like, yes, you're getting paid, but here's the thing: we need to make a profit. We don't make a profit, we shut down. We shut down, you lose your job. Hey, it's so stupid.
Yeah, people like to be lazy in ways that they really shouldn't be, but they do anyway, and
Y-
it's so unfathomable.
Well, it's kind of one of those things. It's like here's another story. So, doing drill layouts in an active mine, you have to pay attention to where your drill hole is going to go and stuff. So you don't want to poke it somewhere where they're doing work because you'll kill someone, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so one of my buds did a drill layout and stuff, and he ended up actually going through an active uh, stope.
Mhm.
He didn't get fired. No one died, but he did got on 2 weeks suspension
Oh, yeah.
because just picture this in your mind's eye. You're underground, like kilometers worth of rock above you and stuff, and suddenly you hear this noise coming off in the distance, and suddenly rock starts shattering beside your face.
Terror. Pure terror.
Yep, it was a miracle no one died.
Damn.
It's just it's all this stupid shit. I think the main problem for that particular instance is that he forgot to bring in an AutoCAD layer. That's literally what it came down to. He didn't import all the information.
Oh, and that was what fucked it up. Damn. Just one small mistake. Well, I guess it's not really small in this case, but
But yeah,
mm.
it's kind of one of those things. It's like pilots have a checklist of things to do. I wish doctors had this, and in my line of work, I make my own checklist. It's like bring in all the layers, do all this, do all that, so you don't forget something.
Doctors do not have that. In
No,
fact,
no,
there's a
no. I know
few
they don't.
doctors who have forgotten so many things that they were supposed to be doing. Like, oh, I was supposed to call like another clinic for this specific patient, but I forgot. Oh well.
No, no. I know doctors don't do this. I wish they did that.
I really wish it so too. Then again, they see a lot of patients, and then some of that checklist stuff kind of goes out the window because then you get a patient who does have something serious that like everything else has to take like a second to be like done later. Then you have to do this, and then you have to. Then again, they do kind of have checklists, but that's only on symptoms and but for
Uh,
specific diseases.
yeah, you're never gonna have a perfect system or like for even all the cases and stuff. Sometimes shit happens and stuff, but like it's kind of one of those things where having a checklist in terms of like a medical profession is kind of like one of those bare minimum. Please, pretty please.
Please remember to do this and this for your patients before doing anything else. I mean, it's not kind of the reason why there's not just doctors in the medical field, but so many other things, so many other positions there, especially at hospitals specifically that deal with all the paperwork instead of the doctors themselves.
Yeah, but this that also kind of would breed in problems. Like, for example, in my line of work, the last place I worked at, responsibilities were very partitioned. So one person would do a layout, one person would log the core, and one person would do interpretations. And in that Chinese telephone game and stuff, some information will be lost because you have three different people doing three different things on the one system.
Hmm.
So it's just like, damn if you do, damn if you don't.
Yeah, that is true. Everything has to be working properly, else someone's getting fucked over.
Yeah, such is life, and you're still in school, but even with the co-op program. But trust me, the co-op once you're out in the workforce and stuff, oh boy, that's gonna be fun.
Oh, I'm totally yeah. I have a feeling it's going to be like, oh that's not something I was prepared for, but
I don't know. If dentistry is anything like the PGO and stuff, you're gonna be working as an intern, not an internship, but work experience as part of your professional requirement. You're going to be having to work under someone at the start of your career anyway.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that's actually a requirement in general.
Well, yeah, like too long didn't read for geology and stuff. In the '90s, there was a gold fraud from a company called Brex and stuff. And in terms of geology, a lot of investors lost a lot of money. But what we did is we went copy and pasted the engineering professional registration thing because in their case, a bridge fell and a lot of people died.
Ooh,
And not comparable, but they set a precedent for professionalism stuff, and we copied them and stuff. And a couple of my university buds were engineers and stuff, and we both went through like their iron ring, my earth ring, and we both kept our brochures for like the ceremony and stuff, and we compared notes. It was literally the same fucking thing.
what was the fucking point?
I know, but getting back to the main point with stuff. So I imagine it's the same level of constraints would be for the medical profession, either doctors or dentists and stuff. And then you can probably throw in lawyers for this here too. Of the cornerstone being you get your education, you get your work experience, however the numbers work out for either, and then you take your ethics, professionalism ethics exam, and then you're good to go.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's how it works in the medical field to begin with. It has to, I think.
Well, again, I don't know off the top of my head. I could probably look this up and stuff, but I kind of imagine it would be the case because if us geologists went copy and pasted from the engineers, I'm sure doctors pretty much did the same thing for their own kind of thing. Or in that, or more specifically, I'm sure the dentist association went copy and paste from the doctors.
Yeah, uh-huh. No, that sounds yeah. That's actually pretty accurate, actually.
Well, I'm just thinking which would have. I was just thinking logically what would be the first one that set the precedence. So, like, doctors before dentists, or in my case, engineers before geologists.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely. I mean, yeah, you're right. Dentists basically just copy paste everything from doctors, which is kind of the reason why doctors hate dentists because we have it easy, but we still get paid a lot, almost equally as much as them. In some cases, we even get paid more,
Oh yeah,
and we don't have to go through the MCAT.
oh yeah. I'm personal enemies with some engineers. We get along just fine and stuff. But like as far as the profession level and stuff is that yes, we are effectively subservient to you guys, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And they'll remind you every time.
Oh, that's actually irritating as hell.
Well, like for example, for my professional registration, I had to get signed off for my work experience. Now, the terms and condition of that there is that it had to be a PGO or an engineer. Doesn't matter if it was a mining engineer, just any old Tom, Dick, and Harry engineer could have signed off on me.
Okay.
So you can see where the tomfoolery starts.
Yeah, I can. It's just interesting.
Well, to be fair, the Geoscience Act didn't actually become okay. The BRIACS thing happened in the '90s, and the legislation didn't work through the system until like until I literally it was 2000. I think the Professional Registration Act came out in Canada at the federal level. So I got into school just as this whole system was coming online, which is why some of
Ooh, so a
which
lot of things changed.
yeah, so which is why a lot of my friends, after the fact, kind of got screwed over for courses and stuff because the system was coming online, but they were still figuring out things. So it's like, oh, you're short this course, but it was a requirement at the time, and yada yada yada.
Yeah, and then now you have to go through jumping a bunch of hoops because they haven't really set anything in stone yet.
Yeah, things have quieted down now and stuff, but I don't know. I got through the system. I'm paying my dues. I wouldn't want to deal with that again. Is all I'm saying.
No, absolutely not. After university, I would hope to never come back.
Well, never say never, but eh.
That's why I don't understand how professors are willing to just go back and teach kids. It's like, do you just like that place is terrible. I never want to go back, but you went back?
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. When I was doing my honors thesis and stuff, I just had this random thought, and I just said out loud when I was doing work with my supervisor. It's like, I wonder if I should do a master's, and he just looked me dead in the eye. It's like, Godzilla, don't. Just get your bachelor's, go out and work. It's not for everyone, and especially not for this. Just go make money. And he was right.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's not the case for dentists. You kind of have to get anywhere.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what I mean. Stuff like certain disciplines, it's like, yeah, you just need C's, get degrees, and just get your bachelor's and be done with. But for other things, yeah, of course, you have to go a little bit more.
Yeah, especially for anything that has to do in fields like medicine or has even an affiliation to medicine to begin with.
Yeah, like I say, one of my buds was going to be a doctor, and I paid attention to his course load and stuff, and how stressed he was and stuff. And I was just like, it's like, well, I love you, but you're insane. But you do you.
Anyone who decides to get a double major in bio and chem and then go straight into the medical field after taking the MCAT are, let's just say, interesting.
I believe that.
I mean, technically, I'm kind of doing the same thing, but I'd rather not pretend like I am doing the same thing.
Well, you kind of know what work. Okay, I'm assuming a few things, but you know what works for you. You know what you need to do, and you're going to do just enough to get it done.
True.
And go above and beyond where you can without burning yourself out, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're rational compared to
Of course,
some
I'm
people.
rational. I'm not gonna overstress myself over something that I know that I physically can't do. If I can't do it, I'm gonna find someone who knows how to do it. If it has to do with something that I have to personally do myself and I realize I can't do it, fuck it. I'll find someone who does and then I'll learn how to do it. But it'll take a gradual time. I'm not gonna like stress myself over doing it right now, right then and there. Even I have a limit and I know what that limit is, and I'm not gonna go over that limit. I'm not that type of person. I
Oh,
know my limits. I'm not gonna go anywhere over that.
yeah, because like for my geology labs and stuff, it was a group struggle session for some of them. Literally, we came together as a class to get some of those labs done. Like the teachers knew what was going on, and that's literally collaborative. That's how the work. That's how the real world's going to be. You're going to work with your coworkers and stuff to get the job done and stuff. And that's why it's like, at the end of the day, we all did the work and we did figure things out and stuff. But we worked as a group.
Yep.
Thankfully.
I mean, like, you don't really have a choice in some of the matters. You do have to work in the group to get that shit done faster.
Well, we had a couple. We had a couple of keeners that were like, "No, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to do it on my own stuff." And they really quickly, they quickly turned around to the proper way of thinking, in the damn hurry.
Yeah, they were like, yeah, no. Should have said that from the beginning. Don't do something that you don't think you can do.
I
Some
remember.
people think they can do it.
I
They
remember.
can't.
Yeah, I remember the year we took. The year I took mineralogy. Mineralogy is one of the more important courses for geology and stuff, and it's actually hard. And thankfully our lab for mineralogy was on Friday, so we would do the lab and also go to like the pub for like breaks and lunch and dinner kind of thing. It was fun. Having a cup, literally breaking the lab to go have a couple of beers and come back was fun. You're probably
No,
angry.
yeah, that's so true.
I was gonna say,
No, 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 I wasn't angry. I was just saying that's definitely true.
yeah. Especially when it comes to crystallography, we're just like, I don't understand this
Whoa.
fucking system. Pound a couple of beers, I was like, oh, the shapes are coming into focus now. Okay, I understand.
They're coming into focus only when I'm going out of focus.
Well, you took inorganic chemistry, so you know exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to crystallography.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know exactly
Pain.
what fuck I mean.
So much pain. And it's just like, I don't know what this means. I'm gonna just do jack shit and like pretend like I know what it means. And eventually you do know what it means.
Well, I'm just thankful in hindsight. I do. How do I say this? You don't. You understand it at the time to take the tests, but it only comes with experience and repetition of actually using the thing. Like, I know what a cubic system means in terms of minerals now because I see it every fucking
Mm,
day.
that is true.
You know, that kind of stuff. It's like if you can get if you can understand a concept right off the bat, great, good for you. For us mere mortals, it takes a lot of beatings to get.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Good times.
Good times indeed.
Okay, so we're creeping up on 3:30. So how married are you to ending at 4?
Kind of married to it.
Okay, do you want to end at 3:30 to give you some time to like do you?
I would appreciate that actually, yes.
Okay. So in the remaining 12 or so minutes, what do you do? So how is your streaming VTubing quote unquote career going? So what's in the pipeline? What are you doing?
Oh, I'm still like building up on stuff. Mostly because a lot of my school and education has kind of been getting in the way of doing the streams that I wanted to be doing. I was supposed to do it on Sunday, and then school said, "Hey, here's that one project." And I was like, "What one project?" "Oh, it's just this little project. Now it's going over the whole genome sequence and trying to find what this specific gene is, going through the database and blah blah blah." Blah. And I was like, "Yeah, okay, I got to do that first then."
Yeah, you're not the only one. Like, and actually, a surprising number of VTubers, like even when VTubing started, were college and university students and stuff. And like, I can't stream because school. And it's like understandable. That's just life.
Yeah, I mean, I had a feeling that was going to happen too. Thursdays and Fridays is when I'm actually free and I don't have anything normally due on those days because I usually do them ahead of time so that I have free time to begin with. So now Thursday and Friday are probably going to be the only days I'm going to be streaming.
That's fine. You're lucky you're getting this stuff out of the way now. Like, to be blunt, you're learning time management. That's what it's coming down to.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I swear to God, like it doesn't matter how old you are, there are still people that have like gray beards that do not understand the concept of time management. I will never understand.
They will never understand time
Well,
management.
they will never understand time management, and I will never understand them not understanding time management.
Yeah, you need to put this specific amount of time to this specific amount of thing. But what if I don't like what I did for that specific amount of thing? Well, too bad. You have to get to the next thing. You don't have all day, but
Well,
I do have all day.
well,
Oh, okay.
well, I remember a couple of bosses ragging me. It's like, Zenlar, why are you doing this? It's like, I am investing my time to implement this system that will save me more time in the long run.
And save you time in the long run.
Yes.
And then they give you shit for it anyway.
Well, it's one of those. It is the classic life lesson you have to learn is that you have to make them think it's their idea.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know exactly what I mean.
Yup. I pull that trick so often.
Yeah, that's a life lesson they don't teach you in school, but you really quickly wise up to.
Yeah, you make them think it's their idea, and now you don't really have that responsibility. They're gonna be like, "Oh, this idea is so great. I made such an amazing idea." And you're gonna be like,
Yeah, it literally does come down to choose your battles, and and
"Yep,
just pick your battles and just move on.
exactly."
For example, you could go all balls out with an animated V2 model, but honestly, if you want to just start streaming with what little free time you have, this PNG tubing is not that bad.
Oh, yeah, that's actually exactly what I was doing. I was thinking of. I was like, "Hey, I should probably start as a PNG tuber first because there is an artist that I'm specifically looking at, and I do like their art style, and I think it fits what my the style of my VTuber model because I realized very quickly right off the bat that my VTuber model is in a very painterly like style and I was seeing all of the models out there and I'm like they're all cutesy anime. Oh, but I'm not cutesy anime.
I can't talk. I'm literally a buff, beefy Godzilla.
I mean, yes, that's true. It's just when you get into, I've gotten to the light of it and I realize, oh, a lot of these art styles don't suit this character. They don't suit this look.
Well, it's kind of it's VT. I've been paying attention to this quote unquote fandom medium, whatever fuck you want to call it, pretty much since day one, and it's one of those things where it's like, okay, you have a rough idea how things work. Make it work for
Yeah,
you. Find out what works for you. Find out what you're happy with.
exactly. If it works out like that, then you can go for it. But if it doesn't, then you gotta think of another way to do it.
Well, like, look at me. I just had like assets and tool, like, my microphone and camera from teleconferencing. And as far as drawing my assets and models and stuff, well, I've been shit posting like Photoshop memes for like years at this point. So it's kind of just like reapplying tools and techniques you already have.
Yeah, exactly.
Although if I were really smart, I would pay someone who knows more what they're doing and better use of my time. But I like learning new things. This has been fun.
No, I also like learning new things, which is why I like trying them out myself first. But if I really think I can't do them, then like obviously I will make somebody else do it.
Yeah,
Even I know that.
I don't know. Sometimes it's a worthwhile life lesson to just beat your head against the wall, and the lesson will come.
Oh, no, definitely. Kind of me with my whole VTuber model problem, where I'm just like, maybe I should just learn how to draw the way that I want, and then I could just get this done now and not have to deal with it later. And then I realize the lengthy process of how to make a VTuber model, and I'm like,
Yes, again, pick your battles.
pick your battles indeed. But they don't open until like late January, that one person. I think they have a waiting list. So I was just like,
Well,
so
look
couple
at
months.
look at it as a blessing in disguise, in that it forces you to be a PNG tuber in the time to see if you like to stream, and before putting in the investment.
Yeah, exactly. That was how I was looking at it too. I was just like, this is basically a trial and error thing first, and then if I'm really, really interested in doing it, I can keep going.
Well, and also you have, how do I phrase this? Given the Q situation drama that led you to here and stuff, you have endeared yourself to a very autistic community with inbuilt knowledge and wisdom for literally what you're doing. So you have resources available to you. It's like, hey, I recognize you, motherfucker. What do you do? Teach me your ways, kind
What
of
do you
thing.
Yes, that's I'm kind of just been like whenever I didn't understand something about about VTubing, I'd always just be like, guys, what does this mean and why is this a thing? And then they just explain it. And I'm just like so thankful every single time they do because I'd be so clueless if nobody explained it to me.
Eh, we're a bunch of assholes, but I like to think we're useful from time to time.
No, I would say you guys are very useful, especially concerning this.
Well, it is the hobby that has brought us together, and I really hesitant to say the word community because community is such a buzzword that's become a red flag for me these days.
Oh, uh-huh. Uh
You know exactly what I mean.
and we were just talking about it before with biology and huh.
Well, mostly because I'm looking forward to Murray's interview with what's her face from that NF. I swear to God, it's just an NFT scam all over again. Pretty much the comment made for this VTuber Awards chick was like Theranos 2.0. It's like, yeah, it is. It does kind of strike me as Theranos VTuber edition.
Oh, oh, that's going to be an interesting stream for Murray.
If you have the time, I would. If you have some downtime or to listen as background noise, go back and watch Kirshi's interview with. I don't care, so I blanked out on the name. But go watch Kirshi's interview from last night and find the time to watch Murray's interview with her tonight, and it'll put into perspective that yeah, this is literally a con artist. This is a more competent Q, which is kind of funny and stuff. But you can dress up dress up the sales pitch and stuff. But at the end of the day, it's just another scam, and we know it's a scam, which is why we're artistically entertained by this.
Of course. Of course.
Le-
Ugh, I hope I never have to deal with a queue in my life ever again.
thank you, thank you, Murray. Lenny Andronikos. Lenny,
What?
I don't know. I assume her surname is Greek or something.
I'm going to assume the same thing.
Woman nearly got android in her name. She's actually bot. Yeah. Okay.
I wasn't actually keeping up with this. What is this even about?
Okay. So, long story short, the elevator pitch is that a bunch of tech bros, NFT bros specifically, found out that VTubers were a thing. You know where this is going. Okay, so pretty much, what she's doing, her and her company, is they're farming resources, both as contact information to get like cellular information and stuff, but also they're trying to push the "we'll handle your copyright, just sign it over to us, we'll take care of you." So you know this where this is going. I find it hilarious. I find it entertaining because this is the shit I live for. You should honestly watch Kershey and Murray stream when you have the time. This shit is fucking hilarious.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's not as if we didn't learn already that NFTs are scams. Why do they think it would work now?
Well, like I say, it's pretty much Q's drift on steroids. It like comparing it to Theranos is not that far off the mark. Yeah.
Except Q was incredibly incompetent.
I know that was its own brand of entertaining. But at the end of the day, this is just more of the same, just on a larger scale.
It's on a much larger scale. Ugh.
Oh,
There's NFTs in the mix.
Honestly, make the time, look into it and stuff. You'll be yelling at the screen.
At the stupidity?
Yeah, you'll be screaming at the stupidity, but you'll be screaming at the screen. It's like, motherfucker, answer the question. Stop giving me corporate speak. I know
This
I'm
is
on.
going to hurt me more because I did an entire project on NFTs and how they suck.
No, seriously, you'll be entertained. And now we're at the half-hour mark, so I'm gonna send you on your way. Thanks for coming. This was
All
fun.
right. No, it was fun. I actually enjoyed all that scientific talk. It's not something I normally do because everyone else in my uni is focused on getting shit done.
Yeah, I am kind of starved right now for science talk and stuff, so we need to do this again sometime, either on my stream or your stream. Doesn't matter. This is fun.
No, absolutely. Whenever I'm like available again, we should totally do this.
Yeah, get like I'm in between jobs, so I'm free as a bird and stuff. So it's kind of like when you have the time and when you're comfortable to do so, just say the word and we'll fire off something.
All right, that sounds chill. I mean, I think next week, I don't know if I have time for it because I think next week might actually be the week either on Thursday or Friday where I actually do a debut stream.
Well, that's what I mean and stuff. So like you do your debut stream, and then after that, and when you have a better idea for your stream schedule and stuff, and we can figure out what'd be best for you to hang out, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, cool.
Then we can like just talk and all that. Yeah. I mean, I already made the Twitch account and the Twitter account, so that's fun. I don't know what other social media I'm supposed to be making for this. To be honest, I'm not even sure. Someone suggested for me to make a TikTok, and I was immediately
No,
so against the
no,
idea. I
no,
was like, absolutely
no,
not. I
no.
hate that shit.
Honestly, we can hash this out later. You got things to do, but again, like us chuckle fucks, we are a resource to use. Please use us. We can save you a lot of headache getting in started with this stuff.
I've realized that like straight off the bat when you guys started talking about so many shit that I didn't understand or even understood the lick of from the very beginning. I was like, yeah, Yeah, they definitely know more than me. I should definitely come to them when I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah. Again, as long as you're having fun, as long as you're having fun with all this, it's fine.
I did do this mainly for the fun.
That's the reason why I'm doing it. Anyway, okay, not to drag on. Thanks for coming, and everyone, thanks for showing up and chit chatting and being nice with Embrace.
Indeed. It's Ravine though now.
Unfortunately, the first name wins, so you're gonna be stuck as Empress in my head until the end of time. So if I ever end up on your stream, you're gonna have to yell at me with a stick. It's like, no, it's Ravine now.
It's Ravine. You have to call me that. Even I sometimes, whenever somebody calls me Ravine, I'm like I don't register it. I'm like, who?
It's one of those things. It's good. It's just going to be a time thing of repetition of like, this is a character, Revine Milith, Revine Milith, Revine Milith, Revine.
Ravine of Milith.
Is it Revine or Revine?
Ravine.
Okay.
It's supposed to sound like a ravine, like like the river.
Yep. I get you.
Yep.
Okay. We're done. You have to go. End stream now. Thanks for coming.
All right. See you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.